go. Episode 4. Ready to record on Anchor. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Hey everybody, welcome back to Independent Artist. I'm Nick Albanese. And yes, this is me. I may sound a little different. I was under the weather all week. Since even my last episode that I taped last week. Starting to feel a little better now. That's life. What can you do? But I'm recording this on Anchor.fm. It's very easy to use, super cool app, and it's free. So you too can record your own podcast if you like, and talk about things you want to talk about. You know what I mean? But welcome back. And left off last time, I left college and I was heading to California. That's right. My friend Maciek Pawlowski, who is now a priest in Poland, he and I hit the road for California the summer of 1995. Picture it, 1995. Sicily. No, it wasn't Sicily. But it was right after his dad's funeral, believe it or not. Like I said last time, his father passed away unexpected, heart attack. Wasn't sure if he was still going to go, but he still wanted to do it. And we left right after the funeral. Believe that? It was the day of the funeral. We got in the car after the funeral, came back to my house, put my bags in his car. I sold my car by then. I sold everything I had. And we saved up. We worked for like 2 years, saving all our money. And we hit the road. And we left family and friends behind. I left my girlfriend at the time behind. And we drove across the United States of America. 3,000 miles from Providence to Santa Monica. That's right. 5-day trip. We stopped like every night to sleep at a hotel. Yes, we were spoiled. We slept every night, and then we got up early again and hit the road again. It was a 5-day trip. And it was a nice trip. It was summertime. The weather was nice. But we did it. We left everyone behind. But, right after his dad's funeral, we did that. We were still in shock over that. And then it was very surreal, leaving all our family and friends behind. And Maciek and I cried all the way, through the state of Connecticut, until we settled down and started taking in the road. Thinking back now, it's like, wow, we really did that. So we arrived to an apartment waiting for us on Pico Boulevard in Santa Monica, California. We called ahead of time, and that was pre-internet, so I got a book from a real estate agent, and I would look through this book for apartment buildings, and you can get it from other states, and I would make calls. And this one I called, it was a great deal. I don't know, maybe it was $400 a month or something, $500 and furnished. You believe that? Can you imagine that now in California? $400 will get you a box in an alleyway. That's pretty much all it's gonna get you now in California. Having some coffee in my last Sicilian mug. The people watching on YouTube, you can see that. So, yeah, it was cheap rent. It was a good place. And Pico Boulevard, and we were 3 miles or 2 miles away from Santa Monica Beach. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. But the funny thing is, when we got there, we were exhausted. Long trip all week. We were so tired. And that first night we arrived in California, we just fell asleep early. And then, in the middle of the night, we awakened by somebody slamming on our door, pounding, pounding and screaming. This guy, he's like, Jessica, open up, I know you're in there. Maciek and I woke up in terror, oh my God, our first night in California, and some crazy dude is gonna kill us. Is that, this is how it ends for us. And, the guy's pounding the door looking for some Jessica. We open the door, and he's all frantic, and he's looking inside the apartment, and apparently what happened, it was his daughter. It was this guy looking for his daughter. and he just saw me and Matt check and like, who are you guys? And we were like, we just moved in. We just moved in today. And then he's like, oh, yeah. And I don't know if he believed us. And he's like, oh, you guys together? And I was like, yeah, yeah. And like, quick thinking, like, yeah, we're together. You know, we made it seem like me and Maciek were a couple. You know, so we figured we do that because then the guy thinks we're together. None of us is dating his daughter Jessica. So that was my thinking. And that's it. He just kind of looked around. We showed him that we were like new here. This is our first night here. We just rented this apartment. We have no idea of anybody that lives in this building. We didn't know Jessica, and he left. I never saw him again. But that was crazy. Like our first night there, someone's banging down our door. That was like crazy, super crazy, man. I'll never forget that. But there we were. We were in California, straight out of college. We knew no one out there. We had no clue what we were doing. We had no connections. But we did have money. We saved we had close to 10 grand each that we saved up from working a couple of years. We lived close by the beach, and we took in the scenery. We go down to the beach. We bought a couple of cheap bikes, and we would ride the bike path. If you lived out there, that bike path that goes from I think Venice Beach to Santa Monica up to Malibu. We would ride that like every day. And then and it's like we should have hit the ground running, but we didn't know where to start, and then we ended up getting Backstage, the newspaper has all this is before the internet, you had to get the paper Backstage and read about all the auditions and stuff happening, and so there's a lot of independent stuff happening, and we would just find things that were good for us, and we would send in our resumes and photos, and I remember I think he got a couple of auditions through that, and I did too. And I remember one audition. It was probably like a 40-minute ride from where we were living. And we went out there. It was at this house. And it was for this independent film called Star Maps. And I can't remember the plot or anything. It's like homeless guys and, I don't know, selling drugs and like male prostitution, all this kind of stuff. And I guess I was really dark at the time. I got a tan. I look Latin. So they called me in for this, and I read it. And, you think it's going to go nowhere, and it didn't. So I didn't get anything. But I remember a year or two later, like on Showtime or something, this movie Star Maps was on. So this movie was made. And that was like my first audition ever in California. It was for that movie. Sending stuff. Most of the time didn't hear anything. And we just went out there. We like I said, we had no experience, no connections. I guess it's kind of a bold move to do it, brave move, but kind of foolish too. Thinking back now, we're kids. We're what are we, like 20, 21. We're out there. We think we know it all. We think we're the big fish in a little pond over here in Rhode Island, and we go out there. And we think we're going to make it overnight, like millions of people that do every year. They go out there. And then at the time I was feeling depressed, missing home, missing my family. Maciek was still, I think, grieving with the loss of his father. So I left probably a couple of months after we got there. I just didn't like it. I missed everybody, and I wanted to get out of there. Maciek, he held on for a few more months. He stayed there a little longer. But he left. And once he left, he decided he was going to become a priest. And he went to seminary and did all that stuff. And he's a priest today. So that was his path. And my path was, I don't know. At the time, I came back. And I was kind of like still like down. I felt like a failure that I went out there and didn't do anything or try anything. And thinking back now, that's like some advice I can really give to some people that are younger people that are out there listening, who maybe want to do the same thing once they're done with college. Or, well, for me, doing it and learning from that, maybe you stick around, try to do some projects locally at home. Some, if you want to do film, do some theater. Really try to get more experience. Or if you're on this side of the country where I am in New England, branch out to Boston, branch out to New York. Try to stay local and build up a resume and some actual work before you head out to California. But I mean, there's so many places now. It's so different compared to the '90s, right? You can go do a film anywhere now. Georgia is big. Georgia is producing a lot of movies and television right now. They're like Hollywood number two. I think they may surpass actually Hollywood, California, because the last 2 years a lot of people have been leaving California. They've been getting out of there, and I know a lot of people have gone down south to Georgia. People are in New York doing stuff. There's so many things being done in Boston, all over the country. Austin, New Orleans. I mean, it's a different world now. It's a different world, especially with this, the media and the internet, and things can be seen. You don't have to go right to New York or LA to get discovered. People are getting discovered right online. So it is a totally different world. But I wish, and I think there were people that trying to tell me like, oh, you're going out there too soon without the experience. And when you're 20, you think you know everything, and you don't listen to that advice. And now thinking back, it's like maybe I should have listened to them. But I'm a kind of person I gotta live my life and learn on my own. You learn the hard way. You know, I think most people are like that. You gotta learn the hard way, and then some people just give up once they learn the hard way. Excuse me. Some people learn and then give up. But I just made those things make me stronger, and I just kept going. So that was my California experience. My first time in California. I did go back. I'll tell you about that another time. But I did go back 10 years later and had a little more success, did a little bit of more work when I went the second time. But that was my first time, 1995. First night there, thought I was going to get killed by some stranger banging on a door. That's what I remember most of my first time in California. Thanks for listening. Take care. Have a great week. Ciao. God bless. See ya.